who receives seed among the thorns is he who hears the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becomes unfruitful. It seems that we're seeing now in the church and in the world people who are consumed with cares. Right? They're consumed with the cares, the things that matter to them, and they're allowing those things, right, to consume them, to where, as the verse says here, they are becoming unfruitful, which speaks of a life at one time that used to be fruitful. Right? There was a time at one time, in their church life or in their life where they were bearing fruit, and they were, God was doing things in their lives. They were, God was working through them. They were being, used of God in ministry and in the church, in their lives. But they allowed things to creep in and crowd the work of God out of their life, and really crowd out the work of the Word of God in their lives. And beloved, there's all kinds of things, all kinds of cares that we can allow into our lives that will just, render us, to become, or put us in the process of becoming unfruitful. One of the things here it says is the deceitfulness of riches. The deceitfulness of riches. And, the thing that deceives us about riches is that we think that if we have money and if we have just this and that, we're going to be finally content. We're finally going to be happy. But man, look at all the people throughout history that have had great riches, and those riches deceived them into thinking that that was going to be what finally brought satisfaction in their life. And Solomon, look at all the, famous people, rich people that have, taken their lives because the deceitfulness of riches is that it's going to be, finally okay, and everything's going to be fine as long as I have enough money and this and that. But that's not the case at all. And I think there's people, even today, who think, oh man, I just got to make that money. I got to make that money. And they've set their relationship with God aside in the pursuit of, of those riches. And man, right now in this season that we're in, man, there's people who are just pushing God to the side. And I want to ask you, can you look back on a time in your life, or maybe look at your life right now and say, man, there was a time when my life was fruitful, but man, it's not bearing fruit anymore. It's not bearing the fruit that it used to bear. And I've allowed cares into my life, things that I've chosen to care more about. Maybe you're caring more about things, than the Word of God, or than the work of God in your life. And that's an issue, man. There's a saying that says, the Word of God becomes impotent in the heart that's indifferent. And so when you not become indifferent, right, to the Word of God, the Word of God's not going to have the effect in our lives as it once had, and we're going to become unfruitful. So, beloved, I just want to encourage you, man, to just check it out, man. If you find your heart crowded with all kinds of stuff and all kinds of things, and you look at your Christianity and say, man, I'm just not as fruitful as I used to be, man, let God deal with you on that, right? Get with the Lord and say, okay, God, here I am, right? I want to get back to that place of being fruitful and bearing fruit again for you, Lord, because Jesus said in John 15:8, he said, and in this my Father is glorified, that you bear much fruit. And so how do we bear much fruit? Well, Jesus said we got to abide. We got to dwell in. We got to live with. We got to have that love relationship, that meaningful, intimate love relationship with the Lord, and just abide with Him. And if we will simply abide with Him, man, that life is going to flow. That fruitful life is going to flow. And so, beloved, just check it. Check it, man. If the cares of this world are consuming you, and the deceitfulness of riches have begun to just take root inside of you, man, get with God and say, God, I want to be fruitful in my life again. All right, y'all. The Lord loves you. So do I. I hope that you'll have a great rest of Wednesday.